All right, let's get started. I'm Corentin. I'm a software engineer coming from France. I've been working at Requirement Yogi for almost 5 years now. And today, unfortunately, I won't be talking about yoga, but I'm going to be talking about requirements. Specifically, I would like to tell the story of one of our customers who I won't name, of course, I've changed a few details. So this customer is working in the automotive industry. They're making driver assistance software, which is basically the kind of software that tells your car to brake when there is an obstacle in front of your car before you even can react. So the stakes are pretty high. It involves people's lives, like many of our customers in airlines or healthcare. If you're working in finance, the stakes could be even higher. You could be talking about money. In the team, we have a few people. Let's start with Cassie, who's a business analyst. She's a senior, but she just joined the company. She's in charge of migrating the requirements from Excel to Confluence. We also have Thomas, who's the engineering lead, who lives in Jira and was in charge of the engineering team. And finally, we have John, who's the safety officer. He's in charge of the ISO 26262 compliance. And he's usually the guy who shows up at the end of the projects with questions that nobody can answer. So this company, they are having an issue with the braking system where sometimes the software activates too late. So the issue is, of course, it's a low regulation, so they cannot be like, oops, let's make the distance lower. So Cathy is put in charge of increasing the distance from 10 meters to 12 meters. And of course, she's migrating the Excel specification to Confluence. So that's the kind of Excel spreadsheet that she's working with, pretty ugly. We are missing history, we are missing the intent, we are missing a lot of context. So Cathy takes the specification and she is migrating everything to Confluence. With Confluence, she has a lot more room to add details. She can add diagrams. And she also lives closer to Jira, where Thomas is working. Thomas, when he prepares the sprints, he can start with the Confluence page and create the Jira tickets from there. Of course, when he does this, we're losing context. Every time there is a change of software, you have to, of course, you have the links to the Confluence page right there, but it's pretty narrow. He starts working in Jira. He creates a few tickets for the radar field of view. He creates tickets for the interface. And there is, unfortunately, a problem, which is that the context is lost. It's very similar to the same kind of problem encountered in other areas. Like, for instance, in hospitals, it's one of the reasons why there is only a day shift and a night shift. The transition between the day shift and the night shift is dangerous for patients because the doctors are losing context. So when we work with businesses on requirements, we like to split things into three: the why, the how, and the proof. The why is the Confluence page. That's the meeting that you spent way too long in. That's the client contracts, that's the ISO specification. In Jira, you have the concrete behavior, which could be the, let's say, the voltage requirements for your chip, or in what temperatures you're going to be operating at. And finally, you have the proof, which is the testing of your specification, stamp approval from an auditor. Could be a Git commit, an audit log, things like that. You want to say what you do and then do what you say. So we're later in the life cycle of the project, and we are having an issue, which is that Catchy wrote the why beautifully. The Confluence pages are very good. The Jira tickets are okay. But the issue is that there is no connection between the two, or the connection is very limited. And finally, we never connected to an actual proof. So the issue becomes a regulatory failure. Instead, what Cathy's team is started doing is mapping the specification to requirement IDs. So with Confluence macros, you have a few properties, like what's the status, who approved the specification, and all sorts of things like that. You also have links to other specification items, and you can then do a graph of everything. You have also Jira links, and when you look at the requirements, you have an overview of everything that you want. Because the requirements are defined separately from the, or they're defined in the Confluence pages, but the data lives separately. The requirements are also searchable, and you have an explicit link to the Jira tickets. Some requirements will have Jira tickets, some will not, and you know which is which. For the developers, you use the same documentation, only you have an explicit link to the actual line in the Confluence document. Instead of having to read the 50-page document, you directly have the information that you need. And there is no duplication and no translation from the Confluence page to the Jira document. So we're having a change request. We want to change the braking distance from 10 to 12 meters. And in most teams, it looks like a Jira issue. A manager, or after a business meeting, somebody tells Thomas, okay, make the change. We want to have the distance put at 12 meters, make it happen. In our case, the team decides to model the change as a requirement, similarly to an amendment to the Constitution, basically. So they have the change issue, and they also have links to the things that are modified. We have made an amendment to a few things, including the sensor calibration, and also the human interface. And finally, we also have to notify John, the safety officer. Keep in mind that the Jira tickets could be owned by different teams. It could be a real nightmare to make sure that you have everything when you try to make such a change. So yeah, repos are pretty easy to miss. An analogy that I like to use is the old days before smartphones, when you had a list of direction or a paper map. Instead, what you really like is having a GPS data that knows where you are and that can dynamically adjust on the fly. Here, what it looks like is when you have a requirement, you have a dependency graph, and everything is kept dynamically charged. You have the parent requirements, the children requirements, and the Jira links. So that's all well and good. Let's skip ahead about 6 months. The product is shipped, everything works, until the team is having reports that there is an issue with the brakes. And sometimes the braking system engages when it shouldn't. It actually triggers an external investigation with a safety board. Things like the FAA or the SEC in finance. So John comes in and he comes in with a very annoying question, but it's a valid question, which is, can you show me the full traceability for the emergency braking trigger from the original spec through the implementation to the test validation? And the team thinks long and hard and is like, maybe. What it looks like for them is having to look for the original specs, so in Confluence or in Excel before they migrated, look for the right version of the spec, have a look at Jira at the time when the product was released, look at the tests in their own testing software or in Jira if everything is connected. That's a process that can easily take days or weeks. And increasingly, it's not compliant with a specification like ISO 26262 or even internal specifications. What the team would have really liked is a requirement traceability matrix. Traditionally, it's some artifact that's produced around the end of a project, usually by a business analyst or a quality assurance person. Instead, for Caddy's team, the process is a continuous process. At any point in the project, you can have the traceability. You choose what is relevant to you, and you build this traceability matrix from the requirements to the Jira tickets and the tests, basically everything that you need. And finally, there is also the issue of versioning. Our answer to that problem looks like baselines. Baselines for us are a set of requirements that are frozen at a point in time at specific milestones usually. So if you're talking about a prototype, you will create a baseline. Then when the testing advances, you can create another one. When the product releases, you can create another one, etc., etc. And you can also have multiple live versions as well if you have different markets. Let's say you're working with the American market and the European markets. Most of your specifications would be the same, but you can have a few items that are different. You can, of course, view the changes between one version and another. And you can make a traceability matrix like I showed for each release. You basically worked with frozen requirements like you would with live requirements. Now, at that point in the presentation, you're probably wondering, what about AI? Well, to me, I don't think that AI changes a lot of things. It's really great at producing 1,000 tickets per minute and 1,000 Confluence pages. But what you really want is some kind of human in the loop. If you have Claude generating 1,000 tickets, at the end of the day, you need someone that you can point the finger to. And you also need to make sure that your human workers have all the context that they need. So yeah, we've just started working on building our own MCP. So to help you write your specifications. But yeah, at the end of the day, you still need to have that human in the loop. Let's bring Kathy's story to an end. Kathy eventually finishes the migration. She's still working with the same requirements, the better context and better access for her team. Thomas has the same Jira tickets, only they are connected in both directions. And finally, we have John, who has all the information he needs. So Kathy, gained more confidence. She was more grounded. Thomas was able to be more autonomous, and he has all the data he needs to make calls without escalating questions. And finally, John is more reliable, and when he has questions, he also has all the information he needs. And let's end the story. They were married, they had many children, and they were happy ever after. That's it for my talk. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to take them. You can find me on LinkedIn, book a demo with our team, or get the slides, and the floor is yours. Also, I'll be at the booth right behind me if you want to, if you're shy, if you want to have more information.